Stars and Djarins, my name is Lee and I'm so excited to be delving back into The Mandalorian. I'm going to be looking back at Series 2 from 2020, which had a few returning characters. We had Boba Fett and Bo-Katan Kryze, Ahsoka Tano as well. Let's put you away and get the Mando hype going because, as you know, we're less than a year from The Mandalorian Grogu and I want to get some hype going. So personally, I do prefer this to Series 1. Something didn't work for me and I felt it was mediocre at best, and while it was Skeleton Crew, it had some major hits. Series 2 had a lot more, and I personally enjoyed it. I love the story arc of Djarin. He aims to get the child to a Jedi, and later finds out that his name is Grogu. There is moments of beauty, shock, and tragedy which makes him stand out, especially when Grogu and Din say goodbye. That scene always gets to me, and it's beautifully done with Din breaking the creed properly this time. Din is one of the highlights of the series. He asks questions, still the stubborn dad, which I love. Din stands out in the second half when he has to mount a rescue mission to save Grogu from Moff Gideon, and he gets to have a whole range of stuff in this performance, and that is a huge ramp up in development when it comes to Din Djarin. Pedro Pascal brought a lot more with his vocal performance and physical performance. For the series only, Barry Lowen replaced Brendan Wayne during the series as the stunt double alongside Lateef Crowder due to an injury. Barry did a great job and stepped up to the plate and did a good job in Brendan's absence. Grogu Clan, Grogu Central Klaxon, Patul, Patul, Patul. I love that we learn about Grogu, but more in the eyes of one of his own kind, and I will talk about her next. His name, his hijinks, why the Imperials are after him, who finally managed to acquire Grogu on a skirmish on Typhon for a high anchor. And I really feel for Grogu as he doesn't deserve this. He's just a young lad and he deserves way better. Also, when he leaves Din, I feel for him as he doesn't want to leave him, and that is later explored and resolved in the book of Boba Fett. Rosario Dawson and Diana Lee Incognito debuted as Ahsoka Tano and Morgan Elsbeth in what they finally now call the story about the Jedi. We start to see how Morgan was a huge threat. I felt she was a threat in Ahsoka, but when I look back, I just wish she was like what she was in the Jedi, as she was more ruthless. I will talk more in future episodes on Ahsoka. Rosaria was Ahsoka from her first scene, and I love the role she had and the potential that grew in Series 1 of Ahsoka, and I can see it continuing in Series 2, so I can't wait to see what Rosaria does next. Ahsoka's episode means a lot to me, not just with Grogu's development, but how she's changed and is still in the Jedi path, even though she's not a Jedi anymore, and how this leads to her performance and the liberation of Corvus when she teams up with Din. A Mandalorian and a Jedi? They won't see it coming. Still love that character. My favourite aspect is her help to the clan of two. She helps by training Grogu and seeing why he won't do it for other people, reveal his name, and explain why she can't train him, and this ends up being a theme which is resolved in the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. I would like to say do watch the Book of Boba Fett, as that answers a few questions from Mando 3. Time for a quick Ahsoka impression. In a way, Grogu and I can feel each other's thoughts. Ahsoka is not the only recast in this series. Boba Fett is back and he is alive, now portrayed by Temuera Morrison, who you might remember as Jango Fett, Commander Cody, and the clones in the live-action series and the prequels. I know people prefer Boba in Mando Series 2, and I do feel he is consistent, but I do agree with what the fans and Temuera have said, because I feel like we deserve more badass stuff from Boba. I enjoyed some of his iconic lines, would have loved to have seen more of him in Rescue, but I can make an argument why he wasn't. Ming-Na Wen stole the show as Fennec Shand, snipe shooting bounty hunter who never misses. I loved her more than what I felt in Series 1, and I felt she had good chemistry with Temuera. A new Debrat who deserves to come back. Fennec is iconic, and that's why I love her. Kay Sakov returned as Bo-Katan Kryze, and Bo had a new aim, not just to reclaim Mandalore. She had a personal quest to get the Darksaber back, which is a plot point in Series 3. Bo was good, and I loved her attitude, and I do think she gets better in Series 3. And if you haven't seen me talk about Bo in Series 3, I'll put the link in the description down below for my Series 3 chat. I was obsessed with the Frog Lady, who I feel is an icon. She had a happy ending by contrast and was one of my highlights of the series. There will be characters that don't speak our language, and that's okay, as it makes some interesting combination, and it's a joy to see stuff like this on the screen. Giancarlo Esposito is iconic as Moff Gideon, very dangerous and determined to get his hands on Grogu. When he does, it is odd that he's only after the blood of a young Jedi, the M Council, but he is ready for revenge against Mando, and to me, that's a true villain. Some shouts to some fantastic heroes, General Hess, Elia Kane, Pen Pershing, and more, as there were interesting events. But please watch the convert in Series 3 as Kay O'Brien and Omid Abtahi put on a phenomenal performance, and honestly, the more I think about it, I just think it's a piece of art, and even though it's not my favourite, I still think it's recommended that you watch it. Paul Lee debuted as the Blower Carlson Teffer, and he is a legend. He is on the hunt for Mando after a skirmish on the route to Trask, which is unsettled. I like the fact that he tries to recruit Cara Dune and listen to her stories. I love the introduction of Timothy Olyphant's Cobb Vanth. I like his introduction and his hatred for the Tuscans. And they discovered that, how he discovers the helmet that belongs to Boba Fett, which was stolen from those silly Jawas, and we love the Jawas. He was interesting. And I like the fact that he starts to learn about working with other tribes and starts to see the differences with the Tussans. I love Cara Dune. I like seeing a different side to her, but I still loved her. I prefer Mixed Mayfield in this season. I thought he was more of a legend. I liked the anger, and I felt Bill Burr was born to play him. I love Carl Weathers, legend. Loved him as Grief Karga. Loved his directing debut this season. Brought us some fantastic acting. I miss you, Carl. I love the array of characters like Cosca Reeves, Axe Wolves, the Miracle, and more, as they're strong and entertaining and a joy to watch. I felt the development with the Tuscans is so good, as it humanizes them from what we saw in A New Hope, as they are savage, but it's not the case as we see here. I love the fact that they use sign language, which is introduced by Troy Kutzer. You might remember him from the film Coda. Similar to what I see with Rose in S, who you will hear me talking about on the podcast in the next few months. Troy has done so much for the deaf community on screen. I like the Luke Skywalker cameo, even though it's deep fake. I think he not only helps Grogu, but himself, even though it does kind of backfire going forward. This is a great addition, but his intro is so iconic, and same with R2-D2 as well. What a treat. I just want to say this isn't fanservice. It's an odd thing for sure. It's not as original as maybe two of the highest ranked Doctor Who episodes for me. Story and engine and looks. Honestly, if you haven't seen those, I recommend watching those episodes and stay tuned for the final reviews. They're great. But it's just as good as them. Music is composed by Ludwig Gustafsson, and the music is just as good as it was in Series 1, but the story, which is the scene when Grogu's name is revealed, is so beautiful, and it stands out the most. And I love Boba Fett's theme as well. Amazing. Plus, Bo-Katan Kryze, Grogu, the new version of the Mandalorian theme. I just love what Ludwig does. The episodes were so good. It was a step up from the last season, The Siege, The Jedi, The Believer, and the rest two are the episodes that stand out to me the most. And I love the fact that they have a scene that is memorable, which is similar to what I have with Agatha All Along and the Mandalorian Series 3. The experiments are super important, as Grogu is one of these experiments because of the M count I mentioned earlier. It's sad to see that he's been experimented on. This isn't the only one, because Omega from the Bad Batch has a similar experience. Like Grogu, she survives, and they're both doing well. The helmet is removed twice in two major scenes in this series. We get to see the acting skills and a more expression from Pedro himself. I love the array of emotions from the characterization, as that makes it a moment. The anger, trying not to speak, and then later on the tears. Poor Amanda. Finally, Gelfart is a theme in this series, as Bo-Katan Kryze, Cosca Reeves, Fennec and Cara Dune take on an Imperial cruiser to help rescue Grogu in one of the most exciting scenes, which is in the rescue, and I feel happy and I find it awesome, and as a girl it makes me feel empowered, so I'm so happy Jon Favreau did that. What did you think about Mandalorian Series 2? Comment down below or subscribe to on social media. I'm excited for the next episode, as if you're a fan of the Heartless Coven, this should be a treat. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Subscribe to Djarin and stay tuned for more